And welcome to another episode of the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric.
Welcome, everybody, to a Victory Monday edition. It's
Yeah.
been a while. We haven't had a nice win in, well over a month. And It comes at quite the shocker, huh?
Yeah, it certainly did. I would just have the expectations of, hey, if we can be competitive against the Saints, that would have been a big deal.
Yeah.
But man, we already got the comment here, and I think it sums it up. It feels good to have a win.
Yeah, very well said, Stephen. I think we all had high expectations with Jalen Hurts coming into the game. Obviously Carson Wentz wasn't really doing it this year. So, whether you were a staunch Wentz wagoner or maybe you're in the Hurts locker, but either way, a victory is a victory.
Absolutely.
So I don't know how there's not a happy Eagles fan in every household across the Delaware Valley tonight, and of course around the U.S. So,
yeah,
I don't know. Tell me I'm wrong.
It's funny. I think a lot of people that I know how hardcore a fan I am. Kind of expected me because, like you just said, talked about being a Wentz wagon guy. That I have been the champion of the Wentz wagon, and kind of thought that I would be disappointed or unhappy with the results. To which I'd say, "Are you? Did you get dropped on your head or something? Like, I'm an Eagles fan. Like."
It's about
that. Absolutely. Like right that. Here, man. The name on the front, a hell of a lot more important than the name on the back.
Exactly. Stephen, again, I honestly wasn't expecting him to throw the ball that much. Honestly, he did his thing on the ground as well. Yeah. The fact of the matter is you had the number one rush defense in the Saints, who had not allowed a rusher in, what was it, like 52, 55? I forget what the number is.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
So a whole lot of freaking games, multiple years of games, basically. Let's just say that.
Mm-hmm.
And not one.
Just one.
But two. You had the quarterback and Miles Sanders rush for over 100 yards. The Eagles themselves haven't done that in quite some time. And the fact of the matter is it comes in Jalen Hurts' first game. Fantastic. They finally ran the ball.
We've been calling for this for about, 8-9 weeks?
Something like that. It's amazing how much they absolutely tailored the game plan for Jalen Hurts, which I am so thankful they finally did this. They mixed the run and the pass. Jalen was able to run when he needed to. They weren't
able to mix in play action.
They weren't designed runs for him for the most part. So it was good to see him adjust. Now, on the flip side, when you kind of think about, somebody had kind of posed the question, well, let's say they had the same game plan and tailored, to Wentz.
Mm-hmm.
Would Wentz have come out with a victory? And it's hard to say, obviously. There's no answer, but I truly believe that was a major hurdle for Carson Wentz in this year, and not having not only a nice balance of the run, but also, a game plan that really was tailored toward what he did best, rolling out and kind of, letting him get out of the pocket. So, no, I don't necessarily know the answer to that question, but I feel like he would have done a lot better job. Now, I think the glaring thing is the fact that Jalen Hurts did not get sacked.
Yeah. He got the ball out. He trusted his guys to make plays. And we've been screaming for it. I've been saying it constantly. Carson has to realize when he's in there, and he will get another opportunity, whether people like it or not.
Right. The money will dictate that.
Yeah. That he has to realize nothing good can happen as long as he's got the football. And that means he's got to get the ball out in the hands of his playmakers. Yeah, Jalen Hurts did that a lot yesterday.
Yeah, oh, absolutely. and I thought he did a great job. I'm not ready to anoint him as the next savior of the world or football in Philly.
But he definitely earned the start this Sunday in Arizona.
Right, and I fully expect him to finish out the year.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps that might be the best thing. Get his feet wet even more, get him comfortable, and then whatever happens in the offseason happens, coaches, GMs.
I think, like you said, though, earlier in this conversation, in the end, money will talk. And
right. Well, and I truly believe there will be an open competition come
sure.
And hopefully there'll be a full camp.
Yeah, I think it will be.
I'm really
very optimistic today. Today was a good day, on the world stage, as well.
Right. Whether or not, again, we don't ever really get into politics here. So whether or not you are for or against a vaccine.
I don't know how you can be against the vaccine.
Again, not going down the rabbit hole.
Well, I mean, people don't want to take it. They certainly don't have to. But I mean, I don't know how you can't be encouraged by the news.
Yeah.
Regardless, hey, give whoever you want credit for it. I don't care. Like as long as we can start to move towards some normalcy, I'll be happy.
Yeah. So regardless of whether the vaccine's coming out tomorrow,
right.
It's going to be slowly released over the next couple of months, and hopefully everyone who wants to have it, it will get their hands on it in the next 4 to 6 months.
Right. And that is great news, like regardless of your political affiliations, like you said.
Hopefully that's enough, and hopefully that gets us to a little bit of normalcy, a la actually having training camp, a la being able to go to football games next fall,
and tailgate, and do everything that comes along with it. Yeah,
exactly. So, I'm glad that we're kind of pushing towards that.
Sure.
But yes, to get back to the point, regardless, Carson Wentz should be on this team. Unless barring a monumentally stupid trade, which only again, I don't necessarily think you're going to get a king's ransom for Carson, but I think you could still, I still think his value among other league, people that make these decisions, I think is still pretty high. I think it is very, very salvageable. I truly think we could get multiple good picks, potentially a good player or two. It's very possible. But again, if you want to give me 3 first-round picks, and let's use the Colts because that's been the sexy choice as of late, and say somebody like a Quentin Nelson or, Darius Leonard. Obviously, that's what I'd pick. But regardless of that, I still don't know if I do the trade. Because, again, the money that Carson Wentz will just absolutely annihilate the cap, not that it already isn't in shambles, it's going to be too much. It's just going to be too much of a hole to dig out of. You're going to have to get rid of everybody, thus creating even more dead money. And you're basically in cap hell for in cap jail.
For years to come,
yeah, absolutely. So Rob says he took what the defense gave him, made smart, quick decisions, didn't make many mistakes. You're right, absolutely, sure. Rob. Outside of the fumble, which I personally, again, I get it. Miles Sanders kind of isn't the most secure person. That's maybe where you run a Boston Scott. But I wouldn't think you'd run a rookie running quarterback, to help try and run out the clock. So perhaps that was more of a play calling error than anything. But still, Steven says, would you guys trade Wentz to Indy? That's the question a lot of people have asked me. Yeah, it seems like a likely destination. San Fran, Washington, you would assume that the Jets are going to draft a quarterback. You assume,
you're going to draft a quarterback.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So take those guys out of it. But there's at least a handful of teams that are QB searching. Yes, I would just don't think it would be smart to trade him next year. There's just too much dead money that would hang over the Eagles, and we're already in cap catastrophe. So
yeah, that would put you into cap hell. Now, look, and this may be an unpopular opinion, but really, you don't have to make a decision about the future of Jalen Hurts for another 2 years. And guess what happens in 2 years? There's a spot in there that you can cut loose from Carson if you want.
Right.
So I say, why make a decision when you don't have to?
Well, right.
You're going to let Carson try to play his way out of it. You're going to give him a chance to compete next year and win his job back. And if he does it and he does well, then great, problem solved.
So
if he doesn't, then you've got 2 years. And then guess what? You spend those 2 years finding out what you have in Jalen Hurts.
Right. So Steven's question.
Mm-hmm.
Would you guys trade Wentz to Indy? Let's just call it the following year. Let's say.
Well, I'm assuming he needs this offseason.
Well, right, but I understand. So your answer obviously is no.
No, I wouldn't. Just because, like what you said, the cap situation that would put you in. And I mean, I think you'd get reasonable compensation. Not great.
Well, I don't think you would get like $1 billion number ones, but I think you might still.
Yeah, I think you'd get reasonable compensation. You'd definitely get a one this year, probably a one next year.
Yeah, and still a starting quarterback that's 2 years removed from an MVP potential season. That many believe that is just, getting the guy mentally right, and you would pair him in this situation with someone who he's had success with.
And look,
so Indy's a lot of considering Rivers.
Yeah,
Rivers is potentially he's only on a 1 year deal.
Yeah.
So even if he re-ups for 1 year, they're still going to be looking. So I personally think we should ask Donovan McNabb what he thinks about trading Wentz to Indianapolis Colts.
I would say no.
Oh, okay. Well,
okay.
All right, that's good to know. I'm glad.
Thanks, Donovan.
Thanks, Donnie. Sorry.
Thanks, Donnie.
I've been wanting to do that all day. Rob says to get from under that horrible contract. Yes, I agree, but
well, you're not really getting out from under.
You're not getting out.
You're getting
You're getting hit over the head with it all at once, which thus makes it even worse. So. But again, that's an off-season to discuss. I truly believe that there's going to be a camp, open camp.
Tell me that'll come up when we do our off-season roundtable discussion.
Maybe.
Just a thought.
Just a thought. But regardless, Jalen Hurts looked pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think the most important thing was he was making quick decisions. As Rob had mentioned, and he wasn't putting himself to get sacked. The New Orleans defense certainly has a few guys who can get at the quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan's been eating quarterbacks for a decade and still doing it at a high level. Demario Davis is a great linebacker. Quan Alexander, who, by the way, was cut and could have easily been picked up by the frickin' Eagles, which this guy said they should do it, is playing at an absolute all-pro level since coming over to the Saints and really solidified that linebacking core over there. So the fact that he he didn't give up any sacks, I got to say is impressive.
Sure.
I came into this hopeful, still supportive of Wentz, still truly believing that push come to shove, it's still Wentz's show.
Absolutely, I'm right there with you.
I think Hurts certainly is going to have to continue to impress these last 3 games. For that to be a true open competition. But, still, regardless, I still give an edge to Carson Wentz, just given the pedigree, given what I've already seen him do. I am more than welcome to admit my faults, admit I am wrong. If Hurts balls the F out and makes me look like a fool, I would love that. I would love nothing more than that. Because that means the Eagles are doing well. And that means the Eagles have something and have a glimmer of hope for the future. So, by all means, I'll gladly take that one on the chin, for sure.
Yeah, and look, I'm saying I tried to find comparisons for this because like everybody, like Steven said or who was it? Oh, I'm sorry, Rob says he thinks that Carson needs a change of scenery. I don't necessarily. I think this might be one of those cases where, and I know, like in 2009, and this is comparing to different sports. Cole Hamels had an awful season, like awful.
Yeah,
and and at the end of it, he was quoting saying, "Man, he just couldn't wait for the season to end." Not really what you want to hear out of one of your best pitchers in the World Series, but still, like you could kind of understand where he was coming from.
Yeah,
and I feel like Carson's probably in that same spot. I feel like just get into the off season, let him go back and look at everything that he's done wrong and figure it out. I think
let him go back to Dakota, get out there and go hunting or whatever.
Get your mind right and come back ready to work next year.
Come back, just decompress, come back and get refocused, and figure out why you weren't at your best. Because if so far your best is MVP type play,
absolutely
highlight film play, and he's got to figure out how to go back there. Otherwise, this could certainly be his career. Again, if he's too mentally gone, whatever and however you want to call that, from whatever reason, whether it's the Nick Foles effect, whether it's the Jalen Hurts effect, whether it's the injury effect, whatever's going on in his head, again, if it's not able to be fixed, he's done.
But I mean, if you're not mentally tough enough to handle it, and look, these are tough challenges that he's faced. Being in the middle of an MVP run and then all of a sudden you blow your knee out on a freak play and you're out and you watch your backup go win a Super Bowl. That would probably be really mentally taxing. As much as you wanted to root for the guy and he's your friend, you wanted to be out there. I mean, I know I've told the story at least a dozen times about trying to get cleared in the Super Bowl.
100%. So I don't know anybody who wouldn't struggle with it a tiny bit, but ultimately you got to move on. And hopefully that's what he's able to do. Now, I will say, I want to talk about the injuries because there were some pretty bad injuries. Once again, tell me if you've heard this story before, people, but the Philadelphia Eagles got some injuries.
Wow, that's some breaking news there.
Yeah, everybody watch out. Sorry, folks, I'm just having fun with drops today. But yeah, so Rodney McLeod's out for the year.
Yeah.
ACL. Slay in concussion protocol.
Yeah.
Avonte Maddox hurt again.
Oh boy.
3/4, or I guess really 5ths of your starting D-backs gone for a good portion of the second half of that game, and you still held on with, let's be honest, a bunch of nobodies.
Yeah.
Come from, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's just, you find ways to generate pass rush. That's going to be the big key to help the secondary this Sunday against Arizona, is if you can generate a pass rush. And that's where guys like Josh Sweat had a great game on Sunday. Fletcher Cox, I mean, he's just a machine. That defensive front, I mean, Javon Hargraves had a freaking ball game on Sunday.
Yeah, he's finally getting some of his money's worth.
Yeah, right. It's about damn time. But look, that's what they're going to have to do in order to make up for the injuries in the secondary. Is they're going to have to get an amazing pass rush.
Well, and you're absolutely right. They're not only going to have to get the pass rush, because you're literally going to be putting people out there in the secondary that you've never heard of.
Yeah.
Jameis Houston from Baylor, he's rookie.
Sure, I remember him.
Michael Jacket, even though I want to call him Michael Jacket.
Michael Jacket, yeah.
Kavon Seymour.
Sure.
In the league for a few years. Braylon Arnold. yeah, you know,
Know him well.
yeah, exactly. Good friend. Uh, now you're gonna safety wise, you're gonna have to rely on Marcus Epps, Rudy Ford. Jalen Mills is probably gonna get pushed to corner.
Yeah,
Wallace is certainly going to be relied upon now more than ever.
absolutely. Yeah, he's going to get thrust into the fire.
Yeah. So, I don't know the injury status of a Craig James. Is that where it's come from? Come to where now we're rooting for even maybe slightly less random people like in Craig James and Crevion LeBlanc.
Yeah, where's my boy Crevion LeBlanc?
Yeah. So are they gonna? They added a few different people to the practice squad. Lavert Hill, he's a corner out of Michigan. You have Elijah Riley, another D-back from Army. These are all people you just never heard of that may be relied on.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's where you're at. And this is not unique to the Eagles, and it's not unique to 2020. A lot of teams, get to this point in the season and are, sometimes you're just finding warm bodies and just saying, hey, man, can you go out there and play?
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, that's what you're going to have to. The Eagles actually just signed Jalen Hurts' former center, Ross Pierschbacher. I hope I pronounced that right. Pierschbacher. To kind of, I assume, to help kind of in practice and some other things.
I thought you were going to say to play defensive back.
Well, you never know. They may actually ask Carson to go out there.
Hey, you know what? With that contract, you better go.
Buddy. We realized you owe us a little bit, so we're going to make you get on out there.
Carson, go play some safety.
Seriously. We may have, just play deep safety.
Yeah.
We'll be all right. But yeah, it's something that's plagued this team all year. And, I feel a lot of fans are still in that middle ground where they're like, well, I'm glad they won.
Mm-hmm.
But now we have the 9th pick rather than the 5th pick.
Which to me, I was sitting there watching and like, wait, should I root? Like, who should I root for the Cowboys Bengals game? And so we might be able to leap up over a team. I'm just like, well, I figure, we have a chance to play the Cowboys and give them a win. So maybe I need the Bengals to win. So then,
I feel like the Bengals are supplanted in the number 3 spot. I feel like, perhaps our only shot.
I know. I wanted to find a way to get the 3.
Well,
so that we get the first pick after the 2 quarterbacks go.
Right. Wow. Yeah. I mean, that you'd have to draft an O-lineman at that point. So at least so far, is the consensus number 3. And we'll certainly go over that, in the offseason, obviously.
Again, something tells me that subject might come up in the offseason roundtable.
It depends on where we are. It depends on how excited we get.
Yeah.
And if Howie's here or not will depend on how excited we get.
Yeah, I got to be honest. That was one of the, as excited as I was that we won, right away. My cousin says to me, he's like, Eric, does this win save Howie Roseman? I'm like, no.
Better not. I don't know why it would, but it better not. I hope, whatever his decision that's going to happen to Howie Roseman, one win is going to change that. I think not.
I mean, and he kind of said it tongue in cheek. I
should hope so.
Yeah.
But hopefully, potentially it could come to whether or not they make the playoffs.
Sure.
And right now,
if we make the playoffs again, how do you justify moving on from a gym who's gotten you to the playoffs 4 straight years and won you a Super Bowl?
Can I answer that?
Sure.
It's because you draft one Pro Bowler. One. That's it.
But, I mean, my response would be, if you put together a winning team that made the playoffs 4 straight years and won you a Super Bowl, I mean, like, I'm just playing devil's advocate. I'm not saying
Super Bowl was flash in the pan. It was lightning in a bottle. Come on. We can admit that at this point. 3 years later, this is not the new norm, Doug. Am I right?
I mean, look, again, it's
Answer the
not
question.
the new norm, but
Answer the question.
I'll answer the question just by saying, like, look, I watched the Eagles play a playoff game in each of the last 3 years that followed the Super Bowl.
I hear you.
If they 2 years. If they make it this year, that would be 3 years. Yeah.
All right, I know what you meant. I can't. Then you know what? Then he needs to be the GM accountant, and then bring in somebody else to be the draft GM.
Well, yeah, I absolutely believe that. I think that should be the case. Like, that's what I've been saying. Where you bring somebody else in as, like, in another role, call it whatever you want to call it, president of player development, or what have you, and that guy's basically in charge of the draft. And Howie Roseman puts together contracts, and that's all he does. Like, this new guy would then be the guy that goes out there, picks out the free agents, and then basically says, "Hey, Howie, I've contacted this guy, put together a contract for him."
Okay, I mean, hopefully that works.
Personally, that's what I would want to see. I want to see that regardless of what happens the rest of the season, because nothing that happens over the next 4 weeks is going to change my mind that we need a different set of eyes evaluating talent.
Yeah, 100%.
And we also need an offensive coordinator, a true offensive coordinator, somebody who will be the descending voice for Doug Peterson in that coach's room.
Yeah, no, I agree. So, well, Eagles got a shocking win, although they did try to.
They tried like heck to F it up.
But now we have Arizona coming to town.
Well, we go to Arizona.
We go there, yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
And, it's not good news, the fact that our D-backs are injured, because not only does Arizona have a good set of receivers, their tight end is certainly a little bit on a hot streak right now, knowing our linebackers. It's not good.
You mean you're not all in on Singleton and Duke Robinson?
Singleton's played admirable.
Sure.
Duke Riley, listen. A blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while, right?
Yeah.
And that's what Duke Riley was yesterday. But I also fear for Kyler and his legs.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have white lightning out there.
Nick Gary, nowhere to be found. These days.
Nick Gary. That's funny. That's really good. I wish I had to drop for that one. Oh, actually, I kind of do. This is what I think about Nick Gary.
Okay. That works. That's fair.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I have a bad feeling Kyler's going to kind of run all over us. But
yeah, I was going to ask you, like, before we get out of here, I definitely want to get, talking about Arizona, an old school NFC East battle.
That's right. Yeah, it's funny. I forget, somebody posted a picture of, like, the divisions from, like, I don't know what it was, 94, 95 or something.
Sure.
And it was, somebody had the caption of, like, if you told somebody today these were the original divisions, they'd look at you like you were insane. The fact
it's funny. I remember a couple of years ago when the Eagles played the Cardinals and telling my cousin Nicholas, they used to be a divisional opponent. And he looked at me and said, "What, when they were in St. Louis?" But like, they stayed in our division.
Yeah.
And
it was New York, Philly, Washington, Dallas, Arizona.
Yeah, we had to go there every year, and man, every time I still will say it every time the Eagles play at Arizona. Funny things happen when the Eagles go to the desert, and hey, this year that funny thing could be, a lot of times I say that in a negative way about the Eagles because, but this time this could be a good way. Absolutely.
Another thing I forgot, Seattle in the AFC West.
That's right.
Completely forgot about that one. That one. That's fun. That's fun. But anyway, I digress. So
just like I always think it's fun to say, like the Houston Astros have done something the Yankees could never do. They've won an AL pennant and an NL pennant.
Yeah, there you go. Stupid Yankees.
Of course, they cheated to get them, but
yeah. Anyway, so we got Arizona next week. Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, and Hassan Reddick, by the way, had like 5 sacks yesterday. Temple alum.
Yeah, Temple tough.
New sack record in Arizona, 5 sacks in one game. Good for him. Hopefully,
he's got to be licking his chops going against the Eagles' offensive line.
I was going to say, hopefully, hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Right.
Anyway, we will see you guys next week. Don't forget, everybody, please see the scroller right now. If you have not already joined up the Notoriety Sports Network, please do. You can find them all on social media, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, obviously Facebook, the page in the group. We're growing fast. We got a whole slew of shows every day of the week. Phillyverse is all up in it as well. You got our show. You got the Philly broadcast tomorrow, Mike Sports on Wednesday. And, we soon, and this is, talk about breaking news here, Eric.
Yeah.
It seems as though Sean Cressman and the Bald Eagle podcast will be making its video debut on the Wednesday. What is that Wednesday? 23rd. Yeah, it's Wednesday the 25th.
Next Wednesday.
Not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. And we'll be doing 2 shows a week, Wednesdays and Sundays, to get you ready before the game and to break everything down on Wednesdays, play-by-play, as he is known to do.
I can't wait to watch that next Wednesday.
So I am that excited.
Yeah.
23rd, Bald Eagle podcast coming to Notoriety Sports Network. So make sure that you follow us all there. All these shows are getting broadcast live right now. We're at Notoriety on the Facebook. We're on Twitch, Phillyverse Twitch. We're on Twitter for Notoriety Sports. We're on Phillyverse Notoriety Sports. YouTube Notoriety Football Smack Talk Show, Phillyverse, everywhere. So you can't miss us. You can't miss this show. You can't miss all the Notoriety shows. There are a great group of guys at Notoriety Sports and some of the other shows. A couple of them do the daily fantasy, which is great. Dude's apparently been winning all types of money, so I'm going to have to hit him up for some advice.
That's good. I'm glad somebody is.
Yeah, right? Because it's certainly not me.
No, me either.
But yeah, the Draft for Upside show, they got a show tomorrow night, actually, right after the Philly broadcast. So you can check them out. We got another fantasy show on Friday nights. There's some baseball shows coming up in March. And also on Saturday, there's Lucas Baseball. There's just a Notoriety Sports Network show is going to be making its debut soon. So big things coming. Anybody out there has ever thought about potentially, doing a show, writing articles, producing, doing anything social media wise, please do not hesitate to reach out to myself or shoot a message over to Notoriety Sports on their Facebook page. Someone will absolutely get back to you. We're just, again, a bunch of people who love sports all around the country and just trying to build something great. So check us out, Notoriety Sports Network. Thank you, everybody, very much for listening. Appreciate all the support. Steven, Rob, appreciate the comments earlier. Much love. Eric, anything to add before we get on out of here?
No.
All right. Gotta love keeping that streak alive. So that's it for us, folks. We will see you guys next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Monday for the Football Smack Talk Show on Phillyverse, on Notoriety Sports Network. Don't forget, tomorrow the Phillyverse comes at you at 6:15. Mike Sports, Wednesday at 8 p.m. Check us all out. Notoriety Sports Network, building big things. So that's it for us. Good win by the Birds. Potentially another shocker in Arizona. Who knows? Maybe just obliterate
Strange things happen when the Eagles go to the desert.
Obliterate that good draft spot and maybe shoot for a playoff spot. Who knows? Crazier things, right?
Hey, absolutely. Why not? Can't win if you don't get in.
That's very true. So, all right, folks, we will see you guys next week for the Football Smack Talk Show. I am your host, Ryan.
I'm Eric. Happy football, everybody.
Later, everybody. See ya.